And see, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. The fact that she doesn't have to pay anything, right? She doesn't have to pay anything. And I know some women are going to jump here and say, hey, well, jump on here and say, hey, well, maybe he doesn't want her to pay that. Maybe they have an agreement. Man, like it's like they will always look for the bright side for the woman. They will always make an excuse for the woman, right? And make it seem as if she's in the right. This is the same woman who sat here and said, hey, right, I look at marriage as a graduation.
About it. But you and your husband, like a lot of couples, decided that it was better to be lived, your life's better lived apart than together.
Yes.
How did you know that it was time?
That's a really good question.
To take that route?
I knew when I really started to focus on my happiness. I feel like women, we tend to focus on everybody else's happiness, making sure that everybody else is okay, meaning our children. Yeah. Meaning, our children, our friends, our, family. But at the end of the day, it's about self-love. And when you start to really work on yourself, love yourself, know your value, know your worth, and then all of a sudden there's this awakening. Wow. And it's not easy. It's a hard journey. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is so, so worth it. So
yeah, wow. Stepping in, because you're stepping in, because some people, when you say, oh, my husband and I are going our separate ways, they go, oh no, oh, that's sad. But you actually see this as
a celebration.
A celebration.
I really do. I look at it as, one of my friends, she sent this beautiful letter to me from a woman who got a divorce. And it's all about, this perspective, in my opinion, and just changing the narrative. My marriage was a success.
Yeah.
I look at it as like a curriculum when you're in college or high school, right? You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, you're creating. And I was able to create with Cory some beautiful, amazing children. Mm-hmm. And at the end of that curriculum, and at the end, there's a graduation, there's a celebration. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, how I'm looking at it now. And I feel like people when they look at marriage, that success equals longevity. But no, at the end of the day, it's, are they happy? Are they thriving? Are they growing? And I feel like that is what is most important.
You look at marriage as a graduation, right? So you saying you got 2 kids with this man, 3 kids with this man, been together all these years, all these years, right? And you look at that and you look at the marriage as a graduation. Well, you know what? I don't really need to be with this man anymore. I need to move on. It makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. That is a piss poor excuse to divorce a man, right? But once again, it's just funny because we're living in a time, right, where women can sit over here and take a man for all his ish, right? Take a man for sit over here, take a man to court and take all of his ish, right? But then sit over here and get upset when men start saying, you know what, hey, it is what it is. You know what? Stop marrying these women, right? And be a passport bro. Or just stop marrying these women in America altogether, right? You can't get upset when you have men saying, here's the solution. See, here's the thing, right? You have a lot of your feminists. You have a lot of your people your women who jump on these on the TikTok and all this other stuff and just bash and talk about men and talk crazy and don't have any solutions, right? For men, we have solutions. When you have women who sit over here and abuse the court, right? Take the court and abuse the man with the court, use the court against the man, right? We say, do this. Don't date the woman. Don't deal with these women. Date outside. Date outside your race. Date outside your culture. Date outside the United States, right? Don't deal with them. Vet your women, right? Vet your women. These are solutions. You have simple solutions. Whereas women are going to sit over here and say, hey, we're going to complain about this. It's just funny because you can see the hypocrisy, right? These women sit up here whenever I bring up Dr. Dre, right, who had to pay, I think he has to cough up like $2 million or whatever. It's like 900 to 200 to 2 million, right? To his ex-wife. Women that do not deserve that stuff. Women that do not deserve that, right? You got DJ Mustard. He has to cough up money to his, ex-wife, and she wanted more. Then you have Neo. He has to cough up money to his ex-wife. Now, I think that's more reasonable. I think their agreement is more reasonable. But nonetheless, the list goes on. I can give you tons of men, tons of people who make money, right? Who has to give up half of the ish to the ex-wife because they're divorcing, because she wants a divorce. She wants to initiate a divorce. It makes no sense, right? But once again, we have women who sit over here and say, well, you know what? The law says whoever makes the most money, they have to pay alimony and child support or whatnot. But then when you look at somebody like Tia Mowry, whatever her last name is, she doesn't pay anything. She doesn't have to pay anything. But guess what? Once again, we're still going to have people to be disingenuous. We're still going to have people be disingenuous and say, well, you know what? The courts are fair, right? The courts are never in favor of women. Y'all see how bad the system is towards men. And for the people who feel like, man, these pages do not bring awareness, this is your awareness right here. You see men having to cough up money every single time a woman wants a divorce. But look, she initiates divorce again, but she doesn't have to cough up anything. And supposedly, hey, guess what? Supposedly for a lot of your women, they sit over here and say, she don't want that broke man. She makes more money than him. But my thing is, right? If the courts are equal, if she is making more money than him, why isn't she paying him? Right? So once again, women have it easy in this world, man. So